Hey guys. I have a new story for you. This is what if Naruto has heavenly restriction. Similar to Toji from Jujutsu Kaisen. If you like this story, feel free to hit like and subscribe and let me know in the comments below. Let's start. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Couldn't Mold Chakra. The October night was cold as the nine-tailed fox's attack on Konoha reached its crescendo. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, made his fateful decision to seal the beast within his newborn son, Naruto. However, as the sealing jutsu completed, something unexpected happened. The immense chakra of the Ninetales collided with the infant's developing chakra network, creating a profound anomaly. Something's wrong. Minato gasped, his life force fading. His chakra pathways, they're collapsing. Hiruzen Sarutobi, who had arrived at the scene, watched in shock as the seal formed, but the infant's chakra system seemed to wither before their eyes. What's happening to him? The third Hokage asked. I don't know, Minato whispered. It's as if his body is rejecting the chakra entirely. With his final breath, he added, Please, take care of him. The medical ninja who examined Naruto in the following days confirmed the impossible. The boy had almost no functional chakra network. The Ninetales was sealed within him, but he couldn't access its power. In fact, he couldn't mold chakra at all. I've only read about this in ancient texts. One elderly medical ninja told the third Hokage privately. It's called heavenly restriction, when the body sacrifices one ability entirely in exchange for extraordinary abilities in another area. In this case, he's lost the ability to use chakra, but his physical capabilities may develop beyond anything we've seen. Will he ever be able to become a ninja? Hiruzen asked. Probably not in the traditional way, Lord Hokage. The medic replied solemnly. Years passed, and Naruto grew up as an outcast for two reasons now, being the Ninetales Jinchuriki and being the boy who couldn't mold chakra. At the academy, he struggled through lessons about ninjutsu and genjutsu that he could never perform. Naruto Uzumaki, Iruka called during a chakra control exercise. Your turn. The 12-year-old boy with spiky blonde hair and whisker marks on his cheeks stepped forward, his bright orange jumpsuit standing out among his peers. The other students snickered, knowing what was coming. I'll do it this time, believe it! Naruto declared, placing his hands together in the standard sign, but nothing happened. Not even a flicker of chakra manifested. Some students laughed outright. Loser can't even make a leaf move. Why is he even here? He'll never be a ninja! Naruto clenched his fists, his face burning with shame. But Iruka saw something else. Despite years of failure, the determination in those blue eyes had never dimmed. That's enough for today, Iruka announced. Everyone head outside for taijutsu practice. On the training field, things changed dramatically. While Naruto couldn't perform the simplest jutsu, his physical abilities were becoming exceptional. He could run faster, jump higher, and hit harder than anyone else in his class. His stamina seemed limitless. During sparring matches, even talented students like Sasuke Uchiha found themselves hard-pressed to keep up with Naruto's raw speed and strength, though Sasuke would never admit it. Taijutsu only, no ninjutsu, Iruka instructed as Naruto and Sasuke faced off. Sasuke smirked. Even without ninjutsu, you're still going to lose, dead last. Naruto grinned back. We'll see about that. When Iruka gave the signal, Naruto moved with blinding speed, appearing behind Sasuke before the Uchiha could react. Sasuke barely blocked the punch aimed at his head, his eyes widening at the force behind it. How did you? Sasuke began, but Naruto was already moving again, unleashing a flurry of punches and kicks that drove Sasuke backward. The match ended in a draw only because Sasuke used his superior technique to compensate for Naruto's raw physical advantage. But the message was clear. Naruto might not be able to use chakra, but he was far from helpless. After class, as Naruto sat alone on his usual swing, a girl with platinum blonde hair approached him. Ino Yamanaka, one of the most popular girls in class and Sasuke's most devoted admirer, rarely spoke to Naruto. That was impressive today, she said, surprising him. The way you moved. I've never seen anyone so fast without using chakra enhancement. Naruto looked up, suspicious of a trick. Are you making fun of me? Ino crossed her arms. I'm trying to give you a compliment, idiot. Oh? Naruto scratched the back of his head. Thanks, I guess. My dad says there's more to being a ninja than just ninjutsu and genjutsu. Ino continued. The Yamanaka clan techniques require perfect chakra control, but they also need mental discipline and understanding people. What's your point? Naruto asked. My point is, maybe you should stop trying to be like everyone else and figure out how to use what you do have," she said, then turned to leave. Just a thought. Naruto watched her go, pondering her words. That night, as he sat in his empty apartment, he looked at his hands. He couldn't mold chakra, couldn't create shadow clones or powerful jutsu like the other students. But he was stronger, faster, more durable than they were. Maybe, he whispered to himself, maybe I can still find my own ninja way. The next day, Naruto approached Irika after class. "Irika-sensei, I want to learn more about taijutsu. Not just the academy style, but everything, all the different fighting styles in the village." Irika studied his most troublesome student, noting the serious expression that replaced his usual mischievous grin. "Why the sudden interest?" "Because it's the only way I'll ever become Hokage," Naruto replied without hesitation. "I can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, but I can fight. I need to be the best at what I can do." Irika smiled. "I think I know someone who might be willing to help you." That someone turned out to be Might Guy, Konoha's foremost taijutsu specialist. When Irika explained Naruto's unique condition, Guy was intrigued. "A heavenly restriction, you say?" Guy stroked his chin thoughtfully. "I've heard legends of warriors with such conditions. They were said to possess physical abilities that bordered on supernatural. So you'll train him?" Irika asked. Guy's eyes gleamed with excitement. "To find a young spirit with such determination despite such obstacles. How could I refuse? The power of youth burns brightly in this one." Naruto's training with Guy began the following day, alongside Guy's prized student, Rock Lee, who also couldn't use ninjutsu or genjutsu due to a different condition. The two boys formed an immediate bond over their shared limitations. "Lee has opened 3 of the 8 inner gates through dedicated training," Guy explained. "But you, Naruto, might be capable of even more with your heavenly restriction." Naruto threw himself into training with a fervor that impressed even the enthusiastic Guy. The weights came first, heavy bands attached to his ankles and wrists that made every movement a struggle. But day by day, week by week, Naruto adapted, his body growing stronger at a rate that astonished everyone. While his days were filled with grueling physical training, Naruto still attended the academy. The graduation exam was approaching, and despite knowing he couldn't pass the ninjutsu portion, Naruto refused to give up. "Naruto," Irika said gently after class one day, "you know the graduation exam requires performing the clone jutsu." "I know," Naruto replied, his expression determined. "But I'm still going to try." The day of the exam arrived. One by one, students entered the testing room and emerged wearing Konoha forehead protectors. When Naruto's turn came, he faced Irika and Mizuki with his head held high. "Create 3 clones," Irika instructed. Naruto formed the hand sign, concentrating with all his might, but nothing happened. Not even a wisp of chakra formed. "I'm sorry, Naruto," Irika said sadly. "You fail." "Wait, Irika," Mizuki interjected. "We could make an exception. His taijutsu skills are exceptional, and—" "No," Irika cut him off. "The rules are clear. Without being able to perform basic ninjutsu, he cannot become a genin." Naruto's shoulders slumped, but he bowed respectfully. "I understand. Thank you for the opportunity." He turned and left the room, hiding the tears that threatened to fall. That evening, Mizuki approached Naruto as he sat on the Hokage monument, overlooking the village. "There is another way to graduate," Mizuki said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Naruto looked up, hope flaring in his chest. "Really? How?" "It's a special test for exceptional cases like yours," Mizuki explained. "If you can retrieve a certain scroll from the Hokage's residence and learn a technique from it, you'll be granted special genin status." Naruto's instincts, honed by years of watching for deception from villagers, sensed something off about Mizuki's offer. But the desire to become a ninja, to prove himself, was too strong to ignore. "What scroll?" he asked. Later that night, alarms sounded throughout Konoha. The scroll of sealing had been stolen. Ninjas scattered across the village, searching for the thief. Irika, knowing Naruto's desperation, headed straight for the forest training grounds. He found Naruto sitting cross-legged with the massive scroll open before him, sweat pouring down his face. "Naruto! What have you done?" Irika demanded. Naruto looked up, his expression brightening. "Irika-sensei! You're just in time. I was trying to learn something from this scroll, but none of the jutsu worked for me. Mizuki-sensei said if I could master one technique, I'd graduate, but—" "Mizuki told you that?" Irika's eyes widened in realization just as a large shuriken came spinning through the air toward them. With reflexes honed by months of Guy's training, Naruto moved faster than Iruka thought possible, grabbing his teacher and pulling him out of harm's way. The shuriken embedded itself in a tree where they had been standing. Mizuki appeared on a branch above them, wearing a cruel smile. "Well done, demon brat! You've brought me the scroll just as planned." "Mizuki, what are you doing?" Iruka demanded. "Getting what I deserve," Mizuki snarled. "Power! And the recognition that should have been mine years ago." He turned his attention to Naruto. "Do you know why everyone in the village hates you, Naruto?" "Don't, Mizuki!" Iruka shouted. "It's forbidden, because you are the nine-tailed fox," Mizuki declared. "The monster that destroyed our village 12 years ago was sealed inside you." Naruto stood frozen, the revelation hitting him like a physical blow. Suddenly, the cold stares, the whispers, the isolation, it all made sense. "That's why you can't use chakra," Mizuki continued, twisting the knife. "The demon's chakra destroyed your pathways. You're a failed vessel, a useless Jinchuriki. Don't listen to him, Naruto!" Iruka yelled. "You're not the fox. You're Naruto Uzumaki of the Hidden Leaf." Mizuki laughed and drew his second giant shuriken. "Die, demon!" He hurled it directly at Naruto. Time seemed to slow for Naruto. The shuriken spun toward him, but instead of fear, a strange calm came over him. His body, refined through months of brutal training, moved on instinct. He caught the massive weapon mid-spin, his hand gripping it with inhuman strength. Mizuki's eyes widened in shock. "Impossible! I may not be able to use chakra," Naruto said, his voice steady as he held the giant shuriken. "But that doesn't make me useless." With a flick of his wrist, Naruto sent the shuriken flying back at Mizuki with twice the speed. The traitor barely dodged, but Naruto was already moving, crossing the distance between them in a blur of orange. The fight was brief and one-sided. Mizuki, for all his skills as a Chunin, couldn't match Naruto's raw speed and power. Within moments, the traitor lay unconscious on the forest floor, his face battered and body broken. Iruka stared in amazement at his student. "Naruto, that was it true?" Naruto interrupted, his back to Iruka. "Am I really the Nine Tails?" Iruka approached him slowly. "You are the container of the Nine Tails, not the fox itself. You're Naruto Uzumaki, the most determined, hardworking student I've ever had." Naruto turned, tears streaming down his face. "But I can't even make a simple clone. I'll never be a real ninja." Iruka smiled and untied his own forehead protector. "A real ninja is someone who never gives up, who protects their comrades and their village. You've more than proven yourself tonight." He tied the forehead protector around Naruto's head. "Congratulations, graduate." Naruto's eyes widened. "But the rules, sometimes exceptions must be made for exceptional ninja," said a new voice. The third Hokage emerged from the shadows, pipe in hand. "Your inability to mold chakra doesn't diminish your potential value to the village, Naruto. In fact, your heavenly restriction makes you unique among our forces, an asset that enemies would never anticipate." "So, I really am a genin now?" Naruto asked, disbelieving. The Hokage nodded. "Report for team assignments with the others. Your journey as a ninja of the Hidden Leaf begins now." As dawn broke over Konoha, Naruto stood on the Hokage monument, his new forehead protector gleaming in the early light. He couldn't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, and the path ahead would be different from any other ninjas. But for the first time, Naruto truly believed he could find his own way to become Hokage. "Just you wait," he whispered to the village below. "I'll protect everyone with my own two hands. That's my ninja way." Chapter 2, Team Formation and First Mission. The classroom buzzed with excitement as freshly graduated genin awaited their team assignments. Naruto sat in his usual spot, aware of the curious and confused glances directed at the forehead protector he now wore proudly. Shikamaru Nara paused by his desk, eyebrow raised. "How did you graduate? I thought the exam required making clones." Naruto grinned. "Let's just say I found another way to pass." Before Shikamaru could inquire further, Ino slid into the seat beside them. "Is it true you beat up a Chunin instructor who was trying to steal some important scroll?" Naruto blinked in surprise. "How did you? My dad works in intelligence," Ino said with a shrug. "He doesn't tell me classified stuff directly, but I overhear things. Plus, the whole village is talking about it." She leaned closer, studying him with new interest. "They say you moved so fast the traitor couldn't even touch you. It wasn't that impressive." Naruto muttered, uncomfortable with the attention but secretly pleased that someone acknowledged his achievement. Sasuke, sitting nearby, scoffed but said nothing. His dark eyes flickered briefly to Naruto before returning to stare straight ahead. Irika entered the classroom, silencing the chatter. Congratulations to all of you on becoming genin of the Hidden Leaf. Today, you'll be assigned to 3-person teams led by a jonin instructor. As Irika began reading off the teams, Naruto found himself hoping he wouldn't be placed with Sasuke. Their rivalry had only intensified since Naruto's physical abilities had begun to rival the Uchiha's overall skills. Team 7, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno. Sakura jumped up with a cheer while Ino groaned in disappointment. And Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto's head hit the desk with a thud. Not with him, he grumbled. Your jonin instructor will be Kakashi Hatake. Irika continued. He proceeded to announce the remaining teams, including Team 10 with Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji under Asuma Sarutobi. After the announcements, the new teams gathered in different parts of the classroom, getting acquainted. Sakura immediately gravitated towards Sasuke, while Naruto approached with reluctance. Look, Naruto said, addressing both teammates. I know I can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, but I'm still going to pull my weight on this team. Sasuke eyed him coolly. Just don't get in my way, loser. What's that supposed to mean? Naruto demanded, stepping closer. Sakura pushed between them. Stop it, Naruto! Don't antagonize Sasuke-kun. He started it. Naruto protested. Actually, came a new voice. I believe you all started it by having the wrong attitude about teamwork from the beginning. The 3 genin turned to find a silver-haired man with his forehead protector slanted to cover his left eye. He wore the standard jonin uniform and a mask that covered the lower half of his face. Kakashi-sensei? Sakura ventured. The jonin nodded lazily. My first impression of you 3, you're all rather disappointing. Meet me on the roof in 5 minutes. With that, he disappeared in a swirl of leaves. On the rooftop, Kakashi had them introduce themselves, sharing their likes, dislikes, and dreams for the future. When Naruto's turn came, he spoke with conviction. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen and training with Bushy Brow and Gai Sensei. I dislike the 3 minutes it takes for ramen to cook and people who judge others without knowing them. My dream, he paused, then continued firmly, is to become Hokage and protect everyone in the village, even though I can't use chakra like normal ninja. Kakashi's visible eye studied him with newfound interest. I see. And how do you plan to accomplish that without ninjutsu or genjutsu? By becoming so strong and fast that I don't need them. Naruto replied without hesitation. Gai-sensei says my heavenly restriction gives me potential beyond normal limitations. Heavenly restriction? Sakura asked, curiosity temporarily overriding her dismissal of Naruto. Kakashi nodded. It's an extremely rare condition. When someone is born with heavenly restriction, they sacrifice one aspect of their abilities in exchange for extraordinary capabilities in another. In Naruto's case, he cannot mold chakra, but his physical capabilities can potentially exceed even those of elite jonin with proper training. Sasuke's eyes narrowed at this information, reassessing Naruto with a calculating gaze. Anyway, Kakashi continued, tomorrow we'll have a survival exercise, your real genin test. What do you mean, real test? Sakura asked. We already passed the graduation exam. That was just to select candidates who might become genin. Kakashi explained. This test has a failure rate of over 66%. Those who fail will be sent back to the academy. The 3 genin stared at him in shock. Meet at Training Ground 7 at 5 a.m. Oh, and don't eat breakfast, or you'll throw up. With that ominous warning, Kakashi disappeared again. The next morning, the 3 genin gathered at the training ground, stomachs empty and nerves on edge. Kakashi, predictably, didn't arrive until 3 hours later. You're late! Naruto and Sakura shouted in unison. Sorry, Kakashi said, not sounding sorry at all. A black cat crossed my path, so I had to take the long way. He explained the bell test. He had 2 bells, and they needed to take them from him before noon. Whoever didn't get a bell would be sent back to the academy and tied to a post while watching the others eat lunch. But there are only 2 bells, Sakura pointed out. That's right. Kakashi smiled. At least one of you will definitely fail. You may use any weapons or techniques at your disposal. Come at me with the intent to kill, or you won't stand a chance. But Sensei, Sakura said worriedly. Naruto can't. I'll be fine. Naruto cut her off. Don't worry about me. Kakashi gave the signal to begin, and the 3 genin scattered, Sasuke and Sakura hiding in the surrounding forest while Naruto remained standing in the clearing. You know, Kakashi said, pulling out an orange book. Ninja are supposed to conceal their presence. I don't need to hide, Naruto declared, removing the weights from his ankles and wrists. They hit the ground with heavy thuds, creating small craters. I just need to be faster than you. Kakashi's visible eye widened slightly as Naruto vanished from sight, reappearing directly in front of him with a punch aimed at his gut. The Jonin barely managed to block, the force of the blows sending him skidding backward. Impressive speed, Kakashi acknowledged, putting his book away. But speed alone won't be enough. What followed was a high-speed taijutsu exchange that left Sakura and Sasuke watching in awe from their hiding places. Naruto moved like a blur, his punches and kicks forcing Kakashi to defend seriously. For a brief moment, the Jonin even had to uncover his left eye, revealing a Sharingan, to track Naruto's movements. Naruto's hands came within inches of the bells several times, but Kakashi's experience and ability to use ninjutsu gave him the edge. After a particularly close attempt, Kakashi created distance with a substitution jutsu. Not bad, Naruto, the Jonin called out, slightly winded. But you're still thinking like an individual, not a team member. Naruto paused, processing Kakashi's words. His eyes widened in realization just as Sasuke launched his attack, unleashing a fireball jutsu that forced Kakashi to dodge right into Naruto's path. The two boys made brief eye contact, and a wordless understanding passed between them. Naruto charged forward as Sasuke prepared another jutsu, forcing Kakashi to divide his attention. Fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu! Sasuke sent multiple small fireballs toward Kakashi. As the Jonin dodged, Naruto used his superior speed to herd Kakashi toward where Sakura was hiding. Sensing the strategy, Sakura emerged and threw a kunai with perfect timing, forcing Kakashi to twist in midair. That moment of vulnerability was all Naruto needed. He snatched both bells with a lightning-fast grab and tossed one to Sasuke. We did it! Naruto exclaimed, holding up his bell triumphantly. Sasuke caught his bell with a satisfied smirk, but then looked at Sakura, who stood dejectedly to the side. What about Sakura? Sasuke asked, surprising both his teammates. Naruto's celebration faltered as he realized their dilemma. We can't let her fail after she helped us. So you're willing to give up your place? Kakashi asked, observing them carefully. Naruto hesitated, looking at the bell in his hand. Everything in him rebelled against the idea of returning to the academy, of delaying his dream. But then he thought of Guy and Lee, who had taught him that a true ninja never abandoned their comrades. Yeah, he said finally, offering his bell to Sakura. Take it. No, Sasuke said unexpectedly, also holding out his bell. She has better chakra control. She'll be more useful to the team than either of us. Sakura stared at both boys in shock. But I barely did anything. That's where you're wrong, Kakashi interjected. You did the most important thing, you brought the team together. All of you pass. What? The three genin exclaimed in unison. The purpose of this test was to see if you could put the team above yourselves, Kakashi explained. In the ninja world, those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. Naruto broke into a wide grin, while Sasuke gave a satisfied nod. Sakura beamed, relief and pride washing over her. Team 7 officially begins its duties tomorrow, Kakashi announced. Congratulations. In the weeks that followed, Team 7 completed various D-rank missions around the village, from catching the infamous Tora the cat to weeding gardens and painting fences. Though mundane, these tasks allowed the team to develop their coordination and teamwork. Naruto's extraordinary physical abilities proved especially useful during a mission to help rebuild part of the village wall that had been damaged in a storm. While other workers needed scaffolding, Naruto could leap to the top of the wall in a single bound, carrying heavy materials that would require multiple trips for others. During team training sessions, Kakashi worked with each genin according to their strengths. For Naruto, this meant intense taijutsu training and developing tactics to counter ninjutsu users. Your greatest advantage is that most ninja rely heavily on chakra, Kakashi explained during one session. They won't expect someone who can close the distance and strike before they can complete their hand signs. Naruto nodded, absorbing the strategy. So I need to be faster than their jutsu. Exactly. And you need to be unpredictable. A straightforward attack is easy to counter, no matter how fast you are. When not on missions or team training, Naruto continued his sessions with Guy and Lee, pushing his body to new limits. Guy had introduced him to the concept of opening the inner gates, though warned him to proceed with extreme caution. Your body is already exceptional due to your heavenly restriction, Guy said. Opening the gates could multiply your strength exponentially, but the risks are correspondingly greater. One evening after training, Naruto encountered Ino at Ichiraku Ramen. She had just finished a mission with Team 10 and was treating herself to dinner. Mind if I join you? Naruto asked, surprising himself with his boldness. Ino looked up, seemingly about to refuse, then shrugged. Sure, why not? As they ate, Naruto found Ino surprisingly easy to talk to. Unlike their academy days, when she had mostly ignored him, she now seemed genuinely interested in his training and abilities. So you really can't use chakra at all? She asked. Not a drop. Naruto confirmed between bites of ramen. I can feel it inside me, especially the Nine-Tails chakra, but I can't access or mold it. That must be frustrating, Ino said thoughtfully. The Yamanaka clan techniques all require precise chakra control. It was at first, Naruto admitted. But now I'm starting to see it as an advantage in some ways. No one expects a ninja who can't use ninjutsu. Ino studied him with newfound respect. You know, that's actually pretty admirable. Most people would have given up, Naruto grinned. Giving up isn't in my vocabulary. Their conversation was interrupted when a Chunin messenger appeared beside their table. Naruto Uzumaki and Ino Yamanaka, the Hokage requests your presence immediately. They exchanged confused glances before hurrying to the Hokage tower. There, they found the rest of Teams 7 and 10 already assembled, along with their Jonin instructors. I've called you here because a situation has arisen that requires both your teams, the third Hokage explained. A group of bandits has taken control of a small town on our eastern border. They appear to be led by a missing nin from the Hidden Stone. With respect, Lord Hokage, Asuma said. This sounds like a B-rank mission at minimum. Are our genin ready for this? Under normal circumstances, I would assign this to more experienced ninja, the Hokage acknowledged. However, all our Chunin and Jonin teams are already deployed on urgent missions. You two are the only Jonin currently available, and I believe your genin teams have shown exceptional promise, Kakashi nodded. What are the mission parameters? Intelligence suggests the bandits are using the townspeople as hostages. Your primary objective is to liberate the town with minimal civilian casualties. Capture the missing nin if possible, but elimination is authorized if necessary. The seriousness of the mission settled over the genin. This would be their first real combat situation against enemy ninja. We leave at dawn, Kakashi announced. Pack for a 3-day mission. Weapons, rations, and proper gear. As they filed out of the Hokage's office, Ino fell into step beside Naruto. Looks like we'll be working together on this one. Naruto nodded, his expression uncharacteristically serious. Yeah. First real mission outside the village. Nervous? She asked. A little, he admitted. But also excited to finally put all this training to use. Ino smiled slightly. Just don't do anything reckless. From what I've heard about Team 7's training sessions, you tend to charge in without thinking. Hey, that's not entirely true, Naruto protested weakly. Just be careful, Ino said, her tone more gentle than he was used to hearing from her. These aren't academy exercises anymore. As they parted ways to prepare for the mission, Naruto felt a strange flutter in his chest at Ino's concern. For someone who had spent most of his life being ignored or dismissed, having someone worry about his safety was a novel and not unpleasant experience. Dawn found both teams gathered at the village gate, gear packed and ready. The journey to the eastern border would take most of the day, giving them time to formulate a strategy. As they traveled, Kakashi and Asuma briefed the genin on what to expect. The missing nin is Goro Iwa, a former Chunin from the Hidden Stone, Kakashi explained. He specializes in Earth-style jutsu and is known for his ruthlessness. Our intelligence suggests he has about 20 bandits under his command, Asuma added. Most are untrained in ninja arts but are armed and dangerous. What's the plan? Shikamaru asked, already analyzing the situation. We'll arrive near dusk and observe the town overnight, Kakashi replied. Tomorrow at dawn, we'll execute a coordinated assault. Team 10, with your mind-body techniques and shadow possession, will focus on identifying hostage locations and securing civilians. Team 7 will engage the primary threats directly. Naruto listened intently, understanding his role without needing to be told. With his speed and strength, he would be their frontline attacker, creating openings for Sasuke and Sakura to exploit. By late afternoon, they reached the forested hills overlooking the small town. From their vantage point, they could see armed men patrolling the streets while civilians were confined to the town square. There's Goro. Asuma pointed to a stocky man with a scar across his face, directing the bandits from the steps of the town hall. He's keeping the townspeople in the square as a human shield. Coward, Naruto muttered. Kakashi assigned watch shifts for the night, with pairs from different teams working together to foster inter-team coordination. Naruto found himself paired with Ino for the midnight watch. As they sat together on a high branch overlooking the town, Ino asked quietly, "How are you going to fight against Earth-style jutsu? Those techniques can be particularly troublesome for close-range fighters." Naruto had been pondering the same question. "I've been training with Kakashi-sensei to counter different jutsu types. For Earth-style, the key is to stay mobile and attack from unexpected angles. They're strong but often slow to execute." Ino looked impressed. "You've really thought this through." "I have to," Naruto replied simply. "I don't have ninjutsu to fall back on." They lapsed into comfortable silence, watching the moonlit town below. Occasionally, Ino would use her mind transfer jutsu on birds to scout the area without risking detection. 17 bandits on patrol, plus Goro in the inn," she reported after one such reconnaissance. "The townspeople are being kept in the square overnight, with guards posted at all corners. We need to take out the guards simultaneously," Naruto mused. "If even one raises the alarm, Goro might hurt the hostages. My dad taught me a variation of our clan technique that might help," Ino said thoughtfully. "It's not as powerful as a full mind transfer, but I can briefly disorient multiple targets in a small area. It would give you and the others a few seconds to neutralize them quietly." Naruto grinned. "That's perfect. We should tell Kakashi-sensei and Asuma-sensei about this in the morning." When dawn broke, the teams gathered to finalize their plan. With Ino's technique and Shikamaru's strategy, they developed a coordinated assault that would prioritize civilian safety. "Remember," Kakashi emphasized, "our primary objective is protecting the townspeople. Capturing Goro is secondary." They moved into position as the sun began to rise. Team 10 infiltrated the buildings surrounding the square, while Team 7 prepared to create a diversion on the opposite side of town. "Ready?" Sasuke asked as they crouched behind an abandoned cart. Naruto nodded, removing his weights. "Let's do this." Sasuke launched a fireball at an empty building, creating a spectacular blaze that immediately drew the attention of several bandits. As they rushed to investigate, Naruto burst from cover with explosive speed, incapacitating 3 men before they could even shout an alarm. Meanwhile, at the town square, Ino performed her technique, momentarily disorienting the guards. Shikamaru immediately captured 2 with his shadow possession, while Choji expanded his size to protect civilians from any potential crossfire. The operation proceeded with precision until a bandit Naruto had managed to sound an alarm. Goro emerged from the inn, his hands already forming signs for an Earth-style jutsu. "Earth-style, stone spikes!" The ground erupted with sharp stone projections, forcing Naruto to dodge with all his enhanced agility. "So, belief sends children to fight me?" Goro laughed, forming more signs. "Earth-style, mud wall!" A massive wall of hardened earth rose between the town square and Team 7, cutting off their approach to the hostages. "Sasuke!" Naruto called. Understanding immediately, Sasuke launched himself onto Naruto's cupped hands. Naruto catapulted him high over the wall, where Sasuke could provide cover fire with his fire-style jutsu. Naruto turned his attention to Goro, who was preparing another jutsu. This was exactly the situation Kakashi had trained him for, preventing an enemy ninja from completing their technique. Drawing on every ounce of his enhanced speed, Naruto crossed the distance in a blur, appearing behind Goro mid-hand sign. "What the?" The missing nin didn't have time to finish his exclamation as Naruto's fist connected with his kidney. Goro stumbled but recovered quickly, switching to close combat with a kunai in hand. "Fast brat, aren't you? But speed won't save you from this." He slammed his palm into the ground. "Earth-style, quicksand trap." The ground beneath Naruto began to liquefy, but he had already leapt high into the air, avoiding the technique entirely. From his elevated position, he could see that Team 10 had successfully secured most of the hostages, moving them to safety while Asuma engaged the remaining bandits. As Naruto descended, he aimed a powerful axe kick at Goro, who raised an earth shield to block. The impact of Naruto's kick shattered the shield completely, sending cracks through the ground and shocking Goro with its force. "How can a mere genin have such strength?" Goro growled, backing away. Naruto pressed his advantage, launching a series of strikes too fast for Goro to counter with jutsu. The missing nin was forced into pure taijutsu defense, where Naruto's superior speed and strength gave him the edge. After a particularly powerful combination, Goro found himself on one knee, bleeding from several wounds. What are you?" he gasped. "Naruto Uzumaki of the Hidden Leaf," Naruto replied, standing tall. "The ninja who's going to become Hokage without ever using ninjutsu." Goro laughed bitterly. "A ninja who can't use ninjutsu? Impossible, that's what everyone says." Naruto grinned. Right before I proved them wrong, seeing his defeat imminent, Goro made a desperate play, forming hand signs for his most powerful jutsu. Earth style, stone prison! The ground rose around Naruto, attempting to encase him completely. But Naruto's enhanced reflexes allowed him to spring free before the technique could trap him. Landing behind Goro, he delivered a decisive strike to the base of the missing Nin's skull, rendering him unconscious. With Goro defeated and the bandits either captured or fled, the two teams regrouped in the town square. The liberated townspeople emerged from their homes, cheering their rescuers. "Excellent work, everyone," Kakashi said, his visible eye crinkling in a smile. "Particularly you, Naruto. Taking down a Chunin-level missing Nin is no small feat for a genin." Naruto scratched the back of his head, embarrassed by the praise. "I just did what we trained for. That was amazing!" Ino exclaimed, approaching with the rest of Team 10. "I saw the end of your fight from the rooftop. You moved so fast I could barely track you. It wasn't just me," Naruto insisted. "Your technique was what made the initial approach possible. We couldn't have saved the hostages without it." Ino smiled, a light blush coloring her cheeks at his praise. "Well, we make a pretty good team, don't we?" As they secured the prisoners and helped the townspeople restore order, Naruto found himself working alongside Ino more often than not. There was an easy camaraderie between them that felt natural, despite their years of barely interacting at the academy. That evening, as they prepared to return to the village with their prisoners, Naruto found Ino sitting alone by a small stream that ran through the town. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, echoing his question from Ichiraku Ramen. Ino patted the ground beside her. "I was actually hoping you would." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment before Ino spoke. "You know, I used to think you were just a class clown, all talk and no substance." "Ouch." Naruto winced, though he was smiling. "Let me finish," she said, nudging his shoulder playfully. "I was wrong. What you did today, facing a jutsu user with nothing but taijutsu, protecting everyone, it was incredible." Naruto felt his face grow warm. "Thanks. That means a lot. I'm curious though," she continued. "Don't you ever resent it? Your condition, I mean. Not being able to use chakra when everyone else can." Naruto gazed at the flowing water, considering her question. "I used to," he admitted. "I was so angry about it, especially when I was younger. But now, I'm starting to see it differently." "How so?" "Everyone has their own path," Naruto explained. "Mine just happens to be different. Maybe I can't create clones or use the Rasengan like the fourth Hokage, but I can still protect people, still make a difference. And in some ways, having this limitation has made me stronger. I've had to work harder and think smarter." Ino studied him with newfound respect. "That's a really mature way of looking at it," Naruto grinned. "Don't sound so surprised." "I have my moments," Ino laughed, the sound light and genuine. As they continued talking under the stars, Naruto felt something shift between them, the foundation of a connection deeper than either had anticipated. The next morning, the combined team set out for Konoha with their prisoners in tow. The successful completion of this mission marked a significant milestone for all the genin involved, but especially for Naruto. He had proven, both to himself and others, that his heavenly restriction didn't make him less of a ninja. It simply made him a different kind of ninja, one with his own unique path to follow. Chapter 3: The Chunin exams begin. 2 months after the successful joint mission, Team 7 had settled into a rhythm of training and increasingly challenging assignments. Naruto's abilities continued to develop at an astonishing rate under Kakashi's guidance and his ongoing sessions with Guy and Lee. During this time, Naruto and Ino had begun training together occasionally. Her mind transfer techniques required precision timing that benefited from practicing against Naruto's speed, while he gained experience defending against jutsu that bypassed physical defenses. "You're getting faster," Ino commented after failing to capture Naruto with her technique for the 5th time in a row. They were training in a small clearing in the forest outside Konoha. Naruto grinned, barely winded despite the intense session. "And you're getting sneakier with your targeting. That last one almost got me." "Almost doesn't count in the ninja world," she replied, but her smile took any sting from the words. Their training sessions had become the highlight of Naruto's week, though he wasn't entirely sure why. Perhaps it was the way Ino treated him, not as the demon container or the boy who couldn't use chakra, but simply as Naruto, a fellow ninja worthy of respect. "There's something I've been wondering," Ino said as they sat beneath a tree, taking a break. "That fox chakra inside you, if you can't mold chakra, does that mean the Nine Tails can't influence you either?" Naruto's expression grew serious. "I don't know for sure," I can feel it sometimes, especially when I'm angry or in danger. It's like this burning sensation inside me. But I've never been able to access it or use it. That might actually be a blessing, Ino said thoughtfully. From what I've heard, Jinchuriki who use their tailed beast's power often struggle to control it. Before Naruto could respond, Kakashi appeared in a swirl of leaves. There you are, Naruto. Team meeting at the bridge in 10 minutes. Important news. He nodded politely to Ino before disappearing again. Guess we'll have to continue this later, Naruto said, standing and offering Ino a hand up. She accepted it with a smile. Same time tomorrow? Definitely. When Naruto arrived at the bridge, Sasuke and Sakura were already waiting with Kakashi, who, surprisingly, was on time for once. Now that we're all here, Kakashi began, I have an announcement. I've nominated Team 7 for the Chunin exams. The three genin reacted with varying degrees of surprise and excitement. Really? You think we're ready? Sakura asked, a mixture of pride and anxiety in her voice. I do, Kakashi confirmed. In the months since you became genin, you've all shown remarkable growth. Sasuke's ninjutsu and Sharingan abilities have developed significantly. Sakura's chakra control and analytical skills are exceptional. And Naruto, he turned to the blonde genin. Your taijutsu and physical capabilities now rival many Chunin, despite your inability to use chakra. Naruto beamed at the acknowledgement. The exams begin in 1 week, Kakashi continued. They'll be held here in Konoha this year, which gives us a home field advantage. However, don't underestimate the competition. Genin from all allied nations will be participating. He handed each of them an application form. This is a voluntary decision. Think it over carefully and submit your forms to room 301 at the academy by 4 p.m. next Monday if you choose to participate. After Kakashi left, the three teammates looked at each other, forms in hand. I'm definitely in, Sasuke said immediately. Me too, Naruto agreed. This is our chance to show everyone what we can do, Sakura hesitated. I don't know, the Chunin exams are supposed to be incredibly dangerous. We'll be together, Sakura, Naruto assured her. Team 7, all the way, Sasuke nodded in rare agreement. We've trained for this. We're ready. Sakura looked between her teammates, drawing strength from their confidence. All right. We'll do it together. As they departed, Naruto spotted Ino and her team receiving similar forms from Asuma. He waved, and she held up her form with a grin, indicating that Team 10 would also be participating. The week leading up to the exams was filled with intensive training. Kakashi focused on refining their teamwork and addressing individual weaknesses. For Naruto, this meant developing strategies to counter a wider variety of jutsu and improving his defensive capabilities. Many opponents will underestimate you once they realize you can't use chakra, Kakashi explained during a private session. Use that to your advantage, but be prepared for when they discover your true abilities. Do you think I can really become a Chunin without being able to use ninjutsu? Naruto asked, voicing the doubt that occasionally plagued him despite his outward confidence. Kakashi regarded him thoughtfully. The role of a Chunin isn't defined by the jutsu they can perform, but by their judgment, leadership, and ability to complete missions effectively. Your physical capabilities are extraordinary, Naruto, but it's your determination and unconventional thinking that will make you a valuable Chunin. Naruto nodded, absorbing the wisdom. I won't let the team down. The day before the exams, Naruto was surprised to receive a note from Ino asking him to meet her at the Yamanaka flower shop after closing. Curious, he arrived to find her waiting outside, a small package in her hands. I wanted to give you this before the exams tomorrow, she said, holding out the package. For good luck. Naruto accepted it with surprise. You didn't have to get me anything, just open it, she urged, a hint of nervousness in her voice. Inside was a set of specially designed arm and leg guards, reinforced with metal plating but lightweight enough not to impede movement. These are amazing, Naruto said, examining the craftsmanship. But they must have been expensive. My dad helped make them, Ino explained. They're designed to protect against kunai and shuriken without slowing you down. I noticed during our training that you sacrifice defense for speed sometimes. Naruto was touched by the thoughtfulness of the gift. Thank you, Ino. No one's ever given me something like this before. She smiled, pleased by his reaction. Just promise me one thing. What's that? When our teams face each other in the exams, and we will, don't hold back just because we're friends. Naruto grinned. Wouldn't dream of it. But the same goes for you. Deal. Ino hesitated, then quickly leaned forward and kissed him on the cheek. For extra luck, she said with a wink before turning and hurrying back into the shop, leaving Naruto standing there, stunned and gently touching his cheek. The morning of the Chunin exams arrived with clear skies and a palpable tension throughout Konoha. Ninja from various villages filled the streets, each team eyeing potential competition. Team 7 met outside the academy, determination evident on all their faces. Naruto wore his new arm and leg guards, having tested them the previous evening and found they complemented his fighting style perfectly. "Nice gear," Sasuke commented, nodding toward the guards. "Thanks," Naruto replied simply, not elaborating on their origin. As they entered the academy building, they immediately noticed something strange on the second floor. A large group of genin was gathered outside a room marked 301, though they were only on the second floor. "Genjutsu," Sasuke muttered to his teammates. "Let's ignore it and head to the real room." They were about to proceed upstairs when they witnessed two Chunin blocking several genin from entering the fake room 301. One team in particular caught their attention, a leaf team consisting of a boy with bowl-cut hair in a green jumpsuit, a girl with her hair in buns, and a boy with pale eyes that marked him as a Hyuga. The green-clad boy attempted to enter, and was roughly shoved back. Naruto recognized him immediately as Rock Lee, his occasional training partner from Guy's sessions. "Lee!" Naruto called out, approaching the scene. "What are you doing? This isn't even the right floor." Lee turned, his distinctive eyebrows rising in recognition. "Naruto! My youthful training companion!" The Chunin guards exchanged glances, realizing their genjutsu had been exposed. "So you noticed," one said with a smirk. "Not bad. But seeing through a genjutsu isn't enough to pass the Chunin exams." Sasuke stepped forward. "We're not trying to get in here. We're going to the third floor. Humph. Let's see if you're as smart as you are observant." The disguised Chunin launched a high kick at Sasuke, who prepared to counter. Before either could connect, however, Naruto and Lee moved simultaneously, catching both kicks with blinding speed. "There's no need for this," Naruto said firmly. Lee nodded in agreement. "We should save our energy for the actual exams." The Chunin guards retracted their legs, looking mildly impressed. "Fine. Good luck, kids. You'll need it." As the crowd dispersed, Lee's female teammate approached Team 7. "That was impressive. I'm Tenden, and this is Neji Hyuga. You already know Lee, apparently. We train together sometimes," Naruto explained. "Lee, I didn't know you were participating in the exams." "Yes. Guy-sensei has deemed us ready to demonstrate our youthful abilities," Lee proclaimed enthusiastically. "And you must be Sasuke Uchiha," he continued, turning to the dark-haired genin. "I have heard much about the rookie prodigy." Sasuke regarded Lee with cautious interest. "And you're Guy's student." "Indeed. The beautiful green beast of Konoha." Lee struck a pose that made Naruto chuckle and Sasuke raise an eyebrow. "We should get going," Neji interjected, his pale eyes coolly assessing Team 7. "The real exam room awaits." As they climbed to the third floor, Naruto quietly explained to his teammates. "Lee can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu either, but for different reasons than mine. He has underdeveloped chakra coils. But he's incredibly strong in taijutsu, maybe even faster than me with my weights on." Sasuke's interest was piqued. "Is that so?" Before they reached room 301, Lee suddenly called out. "Sasuke Uchiha! I challenge you to a brief match." "Lee, we don't have time for this," Tenten protested. "It will only take 5 minutes," Lee insisted. "I wish to test myself against the Uchiha prodigy," Sasuke smirked. 5 minutes? I'll only need 1. Sasuke, the exam," Sakura began, but Sasuke was already moving to face Lee in the wide hallway. What followed was a shocking demonstration of Lee's abilities. Despite Sasuke activating his Sharingan, which he awakened when he was a kid, Lee's taijutsu was too fast and precise to counter. Within moments, Sasuke found himself launched into the air by Lee's dancing leaf shadow technique. "This is the power of pure taijutsu," Lee declared as he prepared to execute his primary lotus. "Lee! Stop!" Naruto shouted, recognizing the dangerous technique from their training sessions. Before Lee could complete the move, a red pinwheel flew through the air, pinning his bandages to the wall. A large turtle appeared, scolding Lee for attempting to use a forbidden technique. Sasuke, released from the technique's grip, fell awkwardly but was caught by Naruto before he could hit the ground hard. "You okay?" Naruto asked, helping his teammate stand. Sasuke nodded stiffly, clearly shaken by how thoroughly he had been outmatched. The bizarre scene continued as Might Guy appeared, punishing Lee with a powerful punch followed by tearful embraces that left Team 7 deeply disturbed. "So that's Kakashi's team," Guy said, finally addressing them. My eternal rival has spoken highly of you all, especially you, Naruto. Your dedication to taijutsu is most youthful. Thanks, Guy Sensei. Naruto replied with an awkward smile. Guy gave them his signature thumbs up. Lee may have won this skirmish, but the Chunin exams are a different matter entirely. Kakashi's team might surprise you, Lee. After Guy and Lee departed with more emotional displays, Sasuke turned to Naruto. You knew he was that strong? I tried to warn you. Naruto shrugged. Lee's been training in taijutsu since before the academy. He's a year ahead of us, remember? Sasuke's expression hardened with determination. I'll need to be prepared for opponents like him in the exam. That's why we're a team, Sakura reminded him. We face challenges together. With that, they finally reached the Rio Room 301, where Kakashi waited outside the door. Good, you all came, he said. Only complete teams can participate in the exam. You mean if one of us had decided not to come, none of us could have participated? Sakura asked. Kakashi nodded. Exactly. But you made the decision as a team, which shows you're ready for this challenge. He stepped aside. Go on then. And remember, watch each other's backs in there. They entered the room to find it filled with genin from various villages, all radiating hostility and competitive spirit. Immediately, they spotted several familiar faces, Team 10 with Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji, and Team 8 with Kiba, Hinata, and Shino. Sasuke-kun! Ino called, rushing over to greet them, or more specifically, to latch onto Sasuke's arm, much to Sakura's annoyance. Get off him, Ino pig! Sakura demanded. Naruto watched the familiar scene with a strange twinge of disappointment. Despite their recent training sessions and the moment at the flower shop, Ino still seemed infatuated with Sasuke. However, as Sakura and Ino began their usual bickering, Ino caught Naruto's eye and gave him a subtle wink that no one else noticed. Suddenly, Naruto understood. She was maintaining appearances, playing the role everyone expected of her. You rookies should keep it down. A silver-haired leaf genin approached them. You're attracting unwanted attention. Indeed, many of the other candidates were glaring at the noisy group of Konoha rookies. Who are you? Sasuke asked suspiciously. Kabuto Yakushi. The genin introduced himself. This is my 7th time taking the exams, so I've gathered quite a bit of information. He produced a deck of cards. These ninja info cards contain data on almost all the participants. Anyone you're curious about? Sasuke immediately requested information on Rock Lee and a red-haired sand genin named Gara who had caught his attention earlier. As Kabuto revealed details about both ninja, Naruto found his attention drawn to Gara. There was something eerily familiar about the sand genin's cold, empty eyes and the gourd on his back. What about him? Naruto pointed to Gara. Is there anything unusual about his chakra? Kabuto adjusted his glasses. Interesting question. According to my information, Gara of the desert has enormous chakra reserves, similar to a Jinchuriki. He's completed numerous B-rank and even A-rank missions without ever receiving a scratch. Naruto's suspicions deepened. He's like me, he murmured, too quietly for most to hear, but Ino, standing nearby, caught his words. You mean? Naruto nodded slightly. I think so. But unlike me, he can use his power. Before they could discuss further, a cloud of smoke erupted at the front of the room, revealing several Chunin examiners and a scarred, imposing jonin. All right, you baby-faced degenerates, pipe down! The jonin barked. I am Ibiki Marino, your proctor for the first exam. Each of you will be assigned a seat number for the written test. A collective groan rose from many participants, Naruto included. A written test was his worst nightmare. As they moved to their assigned seats, Ino managed to whisper to him. Don't worry. I've got your back. Naruto wasn't sure what she meant until Ibiki explained the rules of the test. A series of difficult questions with a harsh point reduction system for cheating. The final question would be given only in the last 15 minutes. Begin! Ibiki commanded. Naruto stared at his test paper in horror. The questions were far beyond genin level. Advanced calculations for shuriken trajectories, complex cipher decoding, theoretical chakra problems. He couldn't answer a single one. Then it hit him. The test wasn't about knowing the answers. It was about gathering information without getting caught. A test of espionage skills, but how could he cheat without any jutsu? He couldn't use shadow clones to gather information or any sensory technique to see others' papers. Just as panic began to set in, Naruto felt a strange sensation, like someone gently knocking on his mind. Ino, he thought. Finally, her voice echoed in his head. I've been trying to establish contact for minutes. Your mind is unusually difficult to access. probably because of your condition. You're using your mind transfer on me? Naruto thought, amazed. Not exactly. It's a modified version my father taught me, more like a temporary connection between our minds. I can see through your eyes and share thoughts, but I'm still in my own body. Now let me see your test. As Ino guided him through the answers she had already collected from other students, Naruto felt a surge of gratitude. Despite being competitors in the exam, she was helping him. Why are you doing this? He asked mentally. We're friends, aren't we? She replied simply. Besides, I want to face you in the later rounds, not have you eliminated here. By the time Ibiki announced the final question, Naruto's paper was filled with correct answers. The proctor explained the harsh conditions of the 10th question. Choose to take it and risk never becoming Chunin if you fail, or withdraw now and try again next time. Team after team dropped out under the pressure until only about half the original participants remained. Naruto noticed Sakura beginning to raise her hand, likely concerned about his chances with such high stakes. Before she could withdraw their team, Naruto slammed his palm on the desk. Don't underestimate me. I don't quit and I don't run. I'll accept your stupid question. Even if I remain a genin forever, I'll still become Hokage someday. His outburst seemed to inspire the remaining candidates, as no one else withdrew after that. Ibiki surveyed the determined faces before him and smiled grimly. Everyone's still here, passes. Confusion rippled through the room as Ibiki explained that there was no 10th question beyond the choice itself. A test of resolve and willingness to face the unknown, essential qualities for Chunin. Just as he finished explaining the purpose of the test, the window shattered and a banner unfurled, announcing the arrival of the second proctor, a woman named Anko Mitarashi. You're early, Anko. Ibiki sighed. 78 candidates left? You're getting soft, Ibiki. Anko commented, scanning the room. Her eyes landed on Naruto, and a flicker of recognition crossed her face. Interesting. Well, follow me, brats. The second exam will cut this number in half, at least. As the candidates filed out to follow Anko, Naruto managed to catch up with Ino in the crowd. Thanks for the help, he said quietly. She smiled. Don't mention it. But remember our deal, no holding back when we face each other. Wouldn't dream of it. Naruto promised. By the way, these worked great, he added, tapping the arm guard she had given him. Good. You'll need all the protection you can get for what's coming, Ino replied, her expression turning serious. The second exam is usually the most dangerous part. Anko led them to the edge of a massive, fenced-off forest with enormous trees and an ominous atmosphere. Signs warning of danger were posted along the fence. Welcome to Training Ground 44, better known as the Forest of Death, Anko announced with a sadistic grin. You'll soon find out why it has that name. She explained the rules of the second exam. Each team would receive either a heaven or earth scroll. To pass, teams needed to obtain both scrolls by any means necessary and reach the tower in the center of the forest within 5 days. That means half of you, at minimum, will fail, Anko concluded. Oh, and try not to die. It makes me look bad. As teams lined up to receive their scrolls and starting gate assignments, Naruto felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The forest looked intimidating, but the challenge excited him. This was his chance to prove that his heavenly restriction was a strength, not a weakness. Team 7 received an Earth Scroll, which Sasuke tucked securely into his pouch. They were assigned Gate 12 as their entrance point. Before separating to their respective gates, Naruto spotted Ino with her team. She caught his eye and mouthed, "Be careful." He nodded, returning the sentiment silently. At their assigned gate, Team 7 made final preparations. Naruto adjusted his weights, deciding to keep them on to conserve energy but ready to remove them if necessary. Remember, Sasuke said quietly, our priority is getting to the tower with both scrolls as quickly as possible. We avoid unnecessary fights and stay together. Naruto and Sakura nodded in agreement. Begin! Anko's voice echoed through the forest, and the gates swung open. Team 7 dashed into the forest of death, unaware of the true dangers that awaited them. Dangers far beyond what any of them had prepared for. Chapter 4. The Forest of Death and Preliminary Matches. The Forest of Death enveloped Team 7 in its eerie atmosphere immediately. Massive trees towered above them, blocking much of the sunlight, and creating an eternal twilight beneath the canopy. Strange sounds echoed through the undergrowth, hisses, growls, and occasional screams from other teams encountering the forest's inhabitants. We need a strategy, Sasuke said once they were deep enough into the forest to pause safely. And a way to identify each other in case we get separated. Good thinking, Sakura agreed. An imposter might try to infiltrate our team. They established a password, a response to the ninja saying, "When does a ninja strike?" The answer was a specific poem about the opportunity for ambush that only team members would know. "That's too complicated," Naruto complained. "Can't we use something simpler?" "That's the point," Sasuke replied. "An enemy would have difficulty memorizing it exactly." As they prepared to continue, a powerful gust of wind suddenly tore through the forest, separating the team. Naruto was blown far away from his teammates, crashing through branches before landing heavily in a distant clearing. "Ouch!" he groaned, rubbing his head as he stood. "That was no natural wind. Someone's attacking us already?" A low hissing sound behind him made Naruto spin around. A gigantic snake, easily 20 feet long, was coiled and ready to strike. "Great!" Naruto muttered. "Just what I needed." The snake lunged forward with surprising speed, but Naruto was faster. He leapt high into the air, avoiding the massive jaws, and landed on the snake's head. Using his enhanced strength, he drove his fist down with enough force to crack the reptile's skull, killing it instantly. "I need to find Sasuke and Sakura," he said to himself, orienting toward where he thought they might be. As he raced through the trees, Naruto's heightened senses detected the clash of battle ahead. He arrived at a small clearing to find Sasuke and Sakura facing a single grass ninja, a woman with an unnaturally long tongue and an aura of menace that made Naruto's skin crawl. "Sasuke! Sakura!" Naruto called out, landing beside them. "Naruto, stay back!" Sasuke warned, his Sharingan active and his body tense with fear. "This isn't an ordinary genin," the grass ninja laughed, the sound chilling and inhuman. "Another little leaf joins the game. How entertaining. Who the hell are you?" Naruto demanded, instinctively moving into a fighting stance. "Me? I'm just a participant seeking a scroll," the ninja replied with a smile that didn't reach their eyes. "Though I find myself more interested in your Uchiha teammate than any scroll." Naruto could tell immediately that this opponent was far beyond normal genin level. The killing intent radiating from them was more intense than anything he had ever felt, even making his enhanced body tremble slightly. "Sasuke," Naruto whispered. "This is bad. We need to retreat." Before Sasuke could respond, the grass ninja moved with blinding speed, striking Naruto with a palm thrust that sent him flying into a tree trunk with bone-crushing force. Any ordinary genin would have been incapacitated or killed instantly, but Naruto's enhanced body absorbed the impact. Still, the pain was intense. Naruto struggled to his feet, spitting blood. "Is that all you've got?" he taunted, buying time for his teammates to strategize. The grass ninja's eyes widened slightly in surprise. "Interesting. You should be broken after that hit. Your physical resilience is unusual." "I'm just full of surprises," Naruto replied, removing his weights. They hit the ground with heavy thuds, creating small craters. "Naruto, no!" Sakura cried. "We need to run!" But Naruto knew retreat wasn't an option. This ninja wasn't going to let them escape. Their only chance was to fight together and create an opening for escape. "Sasuke," Naruto called. "Remember our combination from the Land of Waves?" Understanding flashed in Sasuke's eyes. Despite his fear, he began forming hand signs. "Fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu!" Multiple small fireballs shot toward the grass ninja, who dodged them effortlessly. But the attack served its purpose as distraction. Using his full speed, Naruto circled behind their opponent, while they focused on Sasuke's jutsu. For a brief moment, Naruto thought their strategy might work. He launched a powerful kick aimed at the grass ninja's spine, a blow that would incapacitate most opponents. But the ninja bent unnaturally, contorting their body to avoid the attack entirely. "Too slow!" the ninja hissed, grabbing Naruto's leg and flinging him towards Sasuke with tremendous force. Naruto managed to twist in midair, landing in a crouch beside his teammate. "This isn't working," he panted. "This guy's on a completely different level." The grass ninja laughed, the sound becoming more masculine and sinister. "How perceptive. Allow me to introduce myself properly." With a disturbing motion, the ninja peeled away their face like a mask, revealing pale white skin and snake-like eyes beneath. "Orochimaru," Sakura gasped in recognition. "One of the legendary Sannin, the missing nin who betrayed the village," Sasuke added, his voice tight with fear. "I'm flattered you know of me." Orochimaru smiled coldly. "But playtime is over. I came for Sasuke, and I will have him." Orochimaru's neck suddenly extended unnaturally, his head shooting forward with fangs bared, aiming for Sasuke's neck. Naruto, moving purely on instinct, threw himself between them. The fangs sank into his shoulder instead. Pain like nothing Naruto had ever experienced seared through his body. He screamed, collapsing to his knees as Orochimaru retracted his neck with a frustrated hiss. "Foolish boy!" Orochimaru spat. "That curse mark was meant for the Uchiha. On someone without a functioning chakra system, it's useless. It cannot bind to your chakra network." "How did you know?" Naruto asked. Indeed, the mark that had begun to form on Naruto's shoulder was already fading, his body rejecting the foreign chakra entirely. Sasuke, seeing his teammate's sacrifice, found his courage. "Fire style, great fireball jutsu!" He unleashed a massive fireball directly at Orochimaru. Using the distraction, Sakura grabbed Naruto, who was still conscious but in severe pain. "We need to run, now!" she urged Sasuke. Orochimaru emerged from the flames unscathed, but seemingly tired of the game. "Another time, perhaps. Sasuke will seek me out eventually, when he desires true power." With those ominous words, he sank into the ground and disappeared. Once certain Orochimaru was gone, Team 7 took shelter in the hollow of a massive tree. Sakura examined Naruto's wound, which was already beginning to heal. "That's impossible," she whispered, watching the puncture marks close before her eyes. "No one heals this fast." Naruto managed a weak smile. "Another perk of my condition, I guess. Enhanced healing." Sasuke sat apart from them, his expression troubled. "He was after me. He didn't care about the scroll at all." "Who was that guy, really?" Naruto asked, wincing as he sat up. "Orochimaru is one of the legendary Sannin, along with Tsunade and Jiraiya," Sakura explained. "He defected from the village years ago after being caught conducting forbidden experiments. He's an S-rank criminal, and we just survived an encounter with him," Sasuke said quietly. "Though allowed to escape is probably more accurate." They rested until nightfall, taking turns keeping watch. Naruto's strength returned surprisingly quickly, though the memory of the pain remained vivid. By morning, they were ready to continue their mission. "We still need a heaven scroll," Sasuke reminded them. "And we've lost a day already." They moved cautiously through the forest, eventually encountering a team from the hidden ring. The battle was brief but intense, ending with Team 7 victorious and in possession of both scrolls. "Now we just need to reach the tower," Sakura said, relief evident in her voice. The journey to the central tower took another full day, during which they narrowly avoided several other teams and dangerous forest creatures. When they finally arrived, they opened both scrolls simultaneously as instructed. In a puff of smoke, Iruka appeared, summoned by the scrolls. He congratulated them on passing the second exam and explained the philosophy behind the scrolls: heaven representing knowledge and earth representing physical strength, both necessary for a Chunin. Inside the tower, they found several teams had already arrived, including the Sand team with Gara and Team 10 with Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji. When Ino spotted Team 7, she hurried over, her usual Sasuke-obsessed facade momentarily forgotten in her concern. "You guys look terrible! What happened in there?" Before they could answer, a Chunin announced that all passing teams should gather in the main hall. There, the Hokage himself addressed them, explaining the true purpose of the Chunin exams: a substitute for war between nations, allowing villages to display their strength through their genin. Due to the unexpectedly high number of participants who passed the second exam, the Hokage continued, "We will hold preliminary matches immediately to reduce the numbers for the final tournament." Murmurs of surprise and dismay spread through the gathered genin. "The matches will be one-on-one, determined randomly by the electronic board," the proctor, a sickly-looking jonin named Hate Gecko, explained. "Winners will advance to the final round to be held 1 month from now." The first match was announced: Sasuke Uchiha vs. Yoroi Kato, a Leaf Genin from Kabuto's team. Despite being exhausted from their ordeal in the forest, Sasuke managed to defeat his opponent using pure taijutsu, having been warned by Kakashi not to use his Sharingan due to concerns about Orochimaru's interest in him. Several matches followed in quick succession. Shino defeated a sound ninja named Zaku. Kankuro of the Sand defeated another Leaf Genin using his puppet technique. Sakura and Ino fought to a double knockout, either advancing. Then the board displayed Naruto Uzumaki vs. Kiba Inuzuka. "Finally!" Naruto exclaimed, jumping down to the arena floor. Kiba and his ninja dog Akamaru followed, both looking confident. "You got the worst luck, Naruto," Kiba grinned. "You can't even use chakra. This will be over in one hit." "We'll see about that," Naruto replied, sliding into his fighting stance. As the match began, Kiba immediately used his four-legs technique, enhancing his already sharp senses and physical abilities. He charged at Naruto with impressive speed, claws extended for a devastating strike. But to Kiba's shock, and the amazement of many observers, Naruto sidestepped the attack effortlessly, appearing almost bored. "Is that all you've got?" Naruto taunted. "I train with Sensei and Lee. You'll need to be a lot faster than that." Frustrated, Kiba signaled to Akamaru, who joined the fray. "Man-beast clone!" Kiba transformed Akamaru into a copy of himself, and they began a coordinated assault. Naruto found himself defending against attacks from two directions, forcing him to increase his speed. The audience watched in astonishment as the orange-clad genin moved with grace and power that seemed impossible for someone his age. "He's not using any chakra enhancement," Kurenai, Kiba's sensei, observed with surprise. "That speed is purely physical. The boy has a heavenly restriction," Guy explained to the other jonin. "His chakra system is non-functional, but in exchange, his physical capabilities are extraordinary." After several minutes of intense combat, Kiba and Akamaru prepared their strongest combination technique. Fang over Fang! They became twin whirlwinds of slashing claws, drilling toward Naruto from opposite sides. In response, Naruto did something unexpected. He stood completely still, eyes closed, seemingly making no attempt to dodge. "What is he doing?" Sakura gasped from the balcony. "He'll be torn apart." At the last possible moment, Naruto's eyes snapped open. With timing that bordered on precognitive, he dropped into a perfect split, allowing both Kiba and Akamaru to pass overhead, their techniques causing them to collide with each other. The impact stunned both Kiba and Akamaru, sending them tumbling across the floor. Before they could recover, Naruto was upon them, delivering a precise strike to Kiba's solar plexus that left him gasping for air, and gently but firmly pinning Akamaru. "Winner Naruto Uzumaki!" Hate announced. Cheers erupted from several Leaf Genin, particularly loud from Lee and Guy. Naruto helped Kiba to his feet with a grin. "How did you move like that?" Kiba asked, still dazed from the fight. "No one should be that fast without chakra enhancement. Let's just say my body makes up for it in other ways since I can't use chakram," Naruto replied. As Naruto returned to the balcony, he was met with newfound respect from many who had previously dismissed him. Ino gave him a subtle thumbs up, while Sasuke nodded in acknowledgement of his victory. The matches continued. Neji defeated his cousin Hinata in a brutal display that left her severely injured and Naruto seething with anger at Neji's cruelty. Gara terrified everyone by crushing his opponent. Lee nearly crippled himself fighting against Gara but displayed incredible determination that moved Naruto deeply. Finally, the last match was announced, Ino Yamanaka vs. Dosa Kinyuta of the Sound. "Be careful," Naruto warned Ino as she prepared to descend to the arena. "That sound ninja uses some kind of sound-based attack through that device on his arm." Ino nodded, appreciating the information. "I've been watching his teammates' matches. I have a plan." The match began with Dosu immediately going on the offensive, swinging his sound-amplifying device toward Ino. She dodged narrowly, the sound waves passing close enough to make her dizzy. "Your mind transfer jutsu is useless against me," Dosu taunted. "You need to concentrate to use it, and my sound waves disrupt your inner ear, making concentration impossible." Ino didn't respond, instead throwing several kunai to create distance. Dosu easily deflected them, advancing relentlessly. "What's her plan?" Sakura wondered aloud. "She can't get close enough to use taijutsu, and her clan techniques require line of sight and concentration." Naruto watched intently, noting subtle movements in Ino's stance that seemed familiar from their training sessions. "She's setting something up," he murmured. Indeed, Ino was maneuvering Dosu around the arena in a specific pattern, seemingly retreating but actually guiding his movements. When he was positioned precisely where she wanted, she formed a hand sign different from her usual mind transfer. "Mind-body disturbance jutsu," she called out. Nothing visible happened, but Dosu suddenly staggered, his movements becoming uncoordinated. "What did you do?" he slurred, swinging his sound device wildly. "A variation of my clan's technique," Ino explained, circling him cautiously. "Instead of taking over your mind, I've scrambled your sensory perception. Right now your brain can't properly interpret what your eyes and ears are telling it." Taking advantage of his disorientation, Ino moved in with a series of precise strikes to pressure points, a technique she had practiced extensively with Naruto. Dosu collapsed, unable to defend himself with his senses so thoroughly confused. "Winner Ino Yamanaka!" Hate announced. Naruto cheered loudly, proud of how effectively she had used the technique they had developed together during their training sessions. With the preliminary matches concluded, the winners drew numbers to determine the matchups for the final tournament. The pairings were 1. Naruto Uzumaki vs. Niji Hyuga. 2. Sasuke Uchiha vs. Gara. 3. Shino Aburaim vs. Kankuro. 4. Temari vs. Shikamaru. 5. Ino Yamanaka vs. winner of Match 1. The finalists were given 1 month to prepare for the tournament. As they left the tower, Naruto found himself walking alongside Ino. "Congratulations on your match," he said sincerely. "That technique was amazing. I couldn't have developed it without our training sessions," Ino replied. "Your speed forced me to think differently about my clan's jutsu. Looks like we might end up facing each other in the finals," Naruto noted, looking at the tournament bracket. "If you can beat Niji," Ino reminded him. "He's considered a prodigy even among the Hyuga." Naruto's expression darkened at the mention of Niji. "After what he did to Hinata, I'm definitely going to beat him." "That's a promise." Ino studied him thoughtfully. "You really never go back on your word, do you?" "It's my ninja way," Naruto replied simply. As they reached the village, Kakashi appeared before Naruto. "I need to speak with you about your training for the finals," he said, then nodded politely to Ino. "If you'll excuse us." "Of course," Ino said. "I should find my team anyway." To Naruto, she added, "Good luck with your training. I'll see you at the finals." With a small smile, she departed. "You two have become quite close," Kakashi observed casually. Naruto felt his cheeks warm slightly. "We've been training together sometimes. Her mind techniques work well against my speed." Kakashi hummed skeptically. "Well, regarding your training for the finals, I've arranged for a special instructor to work with you." "Who?" Naruto asked eagerly. "You. Sensei?" "Neither, actually. I need to focus on Sasuke given recent developments." Kakashi clearly meant Orochimaru's interest in the Uchiha. "And Guy will be helping Lee with his recovery. Your instructor will meet you at the hot springs tomorrow morning." Though disappointed that Kakashi wouldn't be training him personally, Naruto was intrigued by the prospect of a new teacher. "Who is it? Someone strong?" "You could say that," Kakashi replied cryptically. "Just be at the hot springs at 9 a.m. And Naruto," his tone grew serious, "what happened in the Forest of Death with Orochimaru, taking that bite meant for Sasuke, was incredibly brave." "Foolish, perhaps, but brave," Naruto shrugged. "That's what teammates do, right? Protect each other." Kakashi smiled. "Right. Get some rest. Your training starts tomorrow." The next morning, Naruto arrived at the hot springs precisely at 9 a.m., excited to meet his mysterious instructor. After waiting for nearly an hour with no sign of anyone looking for him, he began to grow impatient. A strange giggling sound from the other side of the wooden fence caught his attention. Peering around the corner, he discovered an older man with long white hair crouched beside the women's bath, peeking through a small hole and giggling perversely. "Hey!" Naruto shouted indignantly. "What do you think you're doing?" The man turned, annoyed at the interruption. "Quiet, kid! You'll blow my research." "Research? You're just being a pervert," Naruto accused. The commotion alerted the women in the bath, who began shouting and hurriedly leaving the water. The white-haired man sighed dramatically. "Great, you've ruined my data collection," he complained. "Do you have any idea who I am, boy? Some old pervert?" Naruto suggested flatly. The man struck a kabuki pose. "I am the great Jiraiya, one of the legendary Sannin, the Toad Sage of Mount Myaboku, the author of the acclaimed Ika Ika series." Naruto's eyes widened in recognition of the name. "Wait, you're Jiraiya? One of the Sannin, like Orochimaru?" Jiraiya's playful demeanor shifted slightly at the mention of his former teammate. "You've encountered Orochimaru? In the Forest of Death, during the Chunin exams?" Naruto confirmed. "He was after my teammate Sasuke." Jiraiya's expression grew serious. "I see. That explains why Kakashi was so insistent that I train you. You're my special instructor?" Naruto couldn't hide his disappointment. "A pervy sage? Show some respect, kid! I'm one of the strongest ninja in the village," Jiraiya protested. "Besides, Kakashi mentioned you have a unique condition. Something about not being able to use chakra." Naruto nodded. "It's called heavenly restriction. I can't use chakra, but my body is enhanced because of it." Jiraiya studied him with newfound interest. "Fascinating. I've read about such cases but never encountered one. Show me what you can do." For the next hour, Naruto demonstrated his physical capabilities, speed, strength, reflexes, and endurance far beyond normal human limits. Jiraiya observed carefully, occasionally making notes. "Impressive," the Sannin acknowledged when Naruto finished. Your physical abilities are indeed extraordinary. But there's something else Kakashi wanted me to investigate. What's that? Naruto asked, catching his breath. The 9 tails sealed inside you, Jiraiya said bluntly. Normally, a Jinchuriki can access their tailed beast chakra, but your condition complicates things. Naruto's expression sobered. Yeah, I've never been able to use the fox's chakra. I can feel it sometimes, especially when I'm angry or in danger, but I can't access it. Let me examine your seal, Jiraiya requested. Naruto lifted his shirt, channeling his energy as Kakashi had taught him. Though he couldn't mold chakra, he could still circulate the energy within his body to make the seal visible. Jiraiya studied the seal intently, occasionally prodding it with chakra-infused fingertips. Remarkable. The 4th Hokage's 8 trigram seal is intact, but your heavenly restriction has created a unique situation. The 9 tails chakra is completely sealed off from your system. Is that good or bad? Naruto asked. Both, Jiraiya replied thoughtfully. On one hand, you're protected from the 9 tails' influence. It can't take over your body or corrupt you with its chakra. On the other hand, you can't utilize its power either. So for my training, we focus on what you can do, not what you can't, Jiraiya decided. Your opponent in the finals is Niji Hyuga, correct? A taijutsu specialist with the Byakugan and gentle fist style. Naruto nodded. He hurt his cousin Hinata badly in their match. I promised I'd beat him. The gentle fist targets chakra points to disable an opponent's jutsu, Jiraiya explained. But since you don't use chakra for combat, his technique won't affect me the same way. Naruto realized. Exactly. However, the gentle fist still deals internal damage to organs and muscles. Even with your enhanced durability, you need to avoid direct hits. For the next week, Jiraiya trained Naruto intensively, focusing on countering the Hyuga fighting style. They worked on speed, precision, and timing, attributes that would allow Naruto to exploit the brief openings in Niji's defense. The Byakugan gives him near 360-degree vision, Jiraiya explained during one session. But there's a small blind spot at the base of the neck. If you're fast enough to exploit it, I can create openings for attacks. Naruto finished, already planning his strategy. In addition to combat training, Jiraiya worked with Naruto on utilizing his unique condition more effectively. Your heavenly restriction gives you extraordinary physical abilities, but you've barely scratched the surface of what's possible. Under Jiraiya's guidance, Naruto learned to push his body even further, compressing his muscles for explosive bursts of speed, reinforcing his skin and bones for greater durability, sharpening his senses to near supernatural levels. This is similar to what Guy can do with the 8 gates, Jiraiya explained, but without the severe drawbacks. Your body is naturally adapted for these extremes. When not training with Jiraiya, Naruto often sought out Ino, who was preparing for her own matches. They developed a routine of training together in the evenings, each helping the other refine their techniques. During one such session, Ino asked the question that had been on her mind since the preliminaries. Naruto, what happened in the Forest of Death? The real story, not the version you told the proctors. Naruto hesitated, then decided she deserved the truth. He recounted their encounter with Orochimaru, including how he had intercepted the curse mark intended for Sasuke. Ino listened in horror. You could have been killed! Or worse, if that mark had taken hold. My heavenly restriction actually saved me, Naruto explained. The curse mark needs a functional chakra network to take root. Mine rejected it completely. Still, Ino insisted. Facing a Sannin like Orochimaru, that's beyond dangerous, Naruto shrugged. What choice did we have? He wasn't going to let us run. Ino studied him thoughtfully. You know, when we were younger, I thought you were just a loudmouth troublemaker. I never imagined you'd turn out to be so. So what? Naruto prompted when she trailed off. Brave, she finished softly. And kind. And determined. Naruto felt his face grow warm at her words. I'm still a troublemaker, he joked to lighten the moment. Just a stronger one now, Ino smiled, but then grew serious again. Naruto, about the finals, if we end up fighting each other, we give it our all. Naruto finished for her. No holding back, remember? Right. She agreed, though something in her expression suggested conflicted feelings. As the month of training progressed, Naruto occasionally crossed paths with other finalists. Sasuke was training exclusively with Kakashi outside the village. Shikamaru could usually be found cloud-watching, though Naruto suspected his apparent laziness masked intense strategic preparation. Niji trained relentlessly in the Hyuga compound, his determination matching Naruto's own. 1 week before the finals, Naruto encountered Gara alone in the forest during a training session. The red-haired sand ninja watched him silently from a tree branch. "You're like me," Gara said finally, his voice emotionless. "A container. But different." Naruto paused his training, regarding Gara cautiously. "You have a tailed beast sealed inside you too?" "The one tail, Shikaku," Gara confirmed. "It speaks to me constantly, demands blood." "That sounds terrible," Naruto said honestly. "Mine is completely sealed away because of my condition. I can't access its chakra." "Yet you're strong," Gara observed. "How?" "Without using your beast's power, I found my own strength," Naruto explained. "And I have people who believe in me now, people I want to protect." Gara's expression remained blank, but something flickered in his eyes. "People to protect. I protect only myself, love only myself." "That sounds lonely," Naruto said quietly. "Loneliness is all I've ever known," Gara replied before dissolving into sand and disappearing, leaving Naruto troubled by the encounter. The day of the finals arrived with great fanfare. Dignitaries from various nations, including the Kazekage, had come to observe the matches. The stadium was packed with spectators eager to witness the showcase of young talent. Naruto arrived early, dressed in a modified version of his usual orange outfit, reinforced with the guards Ino had given him. He found most of the other finalists already in the competitor's box, including Ino, who gave him an encouraging smile. Noticeably absent were Sasuke and the Sound Ninja, Dosu, who had mysteriously disappeared during the month of preparation. The proctor for the final round, a jonin named Genma Shirani, called the competitors to the arena floor for the opening ceremony. As they lined up before the audience, the Hokage delivered a speech about the importance of the Chunin exams and maintaining peace between nations. With the formalities concluded, Genma announced the first match, Naruto Uzumaki vs. Niji Hyuga. The other competitors returned to the waiting area, leaving Naruto and Niji facing each other in the arena. "You should withdraw now," Niji said coldly. "Fate has already determined you cannot win against me." "I don't believe in fate," Naruto replied, sliding into his fighting stance. "I believe in making my own destiny." Niji activated his Byakugan, veins bulging around his eyes. "Then I will show you the reality of the world. A failure remains a failure. Your inability to use chakra marks you as inferior, regardless of any physical compensation. Begin!" Genma called, jumping clear of the combatants. Niji immediately adopted the gentle fist stance, awaiting Naruto's attack. Rather than charging in recklessly as many expected, Naruto circled his opponent cautiously, assessing the situation. "Analyzing won't help you," Niji taunted. "My eyes see everything. Your defeat is inevitable." "We'll see about that," Naruto replied, suddenly vanishing from sight with explosive speed. He reappeared behind Niji, aiming a kick at his blind spot. But Niji, living up to his prodigy status, sensed the attack and twisted to block it with a chakra-infused palm strike. The impact sent both fighters skidding backward. Naruto felt a sharp pain where Niji's palm had connected with his leg, but it wasn't the crippling sensation of closed chakra points that would have affected other ninja. "Interesting," Niji observed. "Your lack of an active chakra network means my gentle fist cannot shut down your jutsu. However," his eyes narrowed, "I can still damage your internal organs directly, only if you can hit me," Naruto challenged, increasing his speed even further. What followed was a high-speed battle that had the audience on the edge of their seats. Naruto's incredible speed and strength were matched against Niji's perfect technique and Byakugan insight. Each time Naruto seemed to find an opening, Niji's defense proved impenetrable. Each time Niji attempted to land a decisive blow, Naruto's agility allowed him to evade. In the stands, Jonin and Chunin watched in amazement. "The Uzumaki boy's physical abilities are remarkable," Kurenai commented. "I've never seen anyone move that fast without chakra enhancement. That's the power of heavenly restriction," Guy explained proudly. "Like Mai Li, he has turned his limitation into his greatest strength. But can he penetrate the Hyuga's defense?" Asuma wondered. "Niji's not called a prodigy for nothing." In the competitor's box, Ino watched intently, her hands clasped tightly. "Come on, Naruto," she whispered. "Find the opening." Back in the arena, both fighters were showing signs of fatigue. Naruto had several bruises where Niji's strikes had connected, while Niji was breathing heavily from the constant vigilance required to track Naruto's movements. "You fight well for a failure," Niji acknowledged. "But the outcome remains certain. You cannot defeat me. Why are you so obsessed with fate?" Naruto demanded, circling again. "What made you this way?" Niji's expression darkened. "You want to know? Fine. I'll tell you about the Hyuga clan's curse seal and the fate of the branch family. He removed his forehead protector, revealing a mark etched into his skin. Niji explained how the branch family was enslaved to protect the main family, how his father had died in place of his uncle to protect the Byakugan's secret. That's why fate cannot be changed. Niji concluded bitterly. We are all bound by our circumstances of birth, just as you are bound by your defective body. Naruto listened silently, his initial anger at Niji softening to understanding. I get it now, he said quietly. You're just like me. What? Niji's composure slipped for the first time. You've been fighting against a cage all your life. Naruto explained. Your curse seal, my heavenly restriction, they're both limitations placed on us by circumstances beyond our control. Niji's eyes narrowed. Then you understand why fighting fate is pointless. No. Naruto shook his head firmly. I understand why fighting fate is everything. Your father chose his destiny when he sacrificed himself. He broke the cage, even if it was just for a moment, to protect what was precious to him. Something in Niji's expression wavered. And I'm going to break my cage too. Naruto continued, his voice rising. I can't use chakra? Fine. I'll become Hokage with my bare hands if I have to. And right now, I'm going to defeat you, not because fate says so, but because I choose to. With that declaration, Naruto removed the last of his training weights, dropping them to create small craters in the arena floor. The audience gasped at the visible demonstration of their weight. No, Naruto said, his body seeming to vibrate with barely contained energy. Let's finish this. What happened next was almost too fast for most spectators to follow. Naruto moved with such speed that he left afterimages, attacking from multiple angles simultaneously. Niji's rotation technique managed to repel the first wave, but Naruto had anticipated this. As Niji completed his rotation, Naruto was already inside his guard, having timed the technique perfectly. A devastating uppercut connected with Niji's chin, lifting him off his feet. Before he could recover, Naruto delivered a series of precise strikes to pressure points, a technique learned from studying the Hyuga style itself. Niji crashed to the ground, unable to move his limbs properly. Naruto stood over him, breathing heavily but victorious. Impossible! Niji whispered, his Byakugan deactivated from chakra exhaustion. Nothing is impossible if you're willing to work hard enough. Naruto replied, offering his hand. Your fate is what you make it, Niji. After a moment's hesitation, Niji accepted the hand, allowing Naruto to help him stand. Perhaps there is wisdom in your words. Winner Naruto Uzumaki! Genma announced as the crowd erupted in cheers. As Naruto walked back to the competitor's box, he was met with newfound respect from the other finalists. Ino greeted him with a wide smile and a spontaneous hug that left him momentarily stunned. That was amazing! She exclaimed, quickly releasing him when she realized what she'd done. I mean, good job. Not that I'm surprised or anything, Naruto grinned, enjoying her flustered reaction. Thanks. But don't celebrate too much, now you have to face me in the next round. I'm looking forward to it. Ino replied, her competitive spirit returning. Just don't expect me to go easy on you just because you gave a nice speech about fate. As they waited for the next match, Naruto felt a profound satisfaction. He had proven, both to himself and to everyone watching, that his heavenly restriction didn't define his limits, it simply set the stage for him to surpass them. And with each obstacle overcome, his path to becoming Hokage grew clearer. The tournament continued with Shikamaru's strategic battle against Temari, which he forfeited despite having the advantage, claiming he was low on chakra. Kankuro mysteriously withdrew before his match with Shino, raising suspicions among the more experienced ninja present. As the scheduled time for Sasuke's match against Gara approached with no sign of the Uchiha, tension grew in the stadium. The Hokage and Kazekage conferred, eventually agreeing to postpone the match rather than disqualify Sasuke. The next match will be Ino Yamanaka vs Naruto Uzumaki, Genma announced. Naruto and Ino exchanged glances, both excited and somewhat reluctant to face each other. Remember our deal, Ino said as they walked together to the arena floor. No holding back. Wouldn't dream of it, Naruto assured her, though privately he felt conflicted. Their training sessions and growing friendship had created a bond he hadn't expected. As they faced each other in the arena, Genma raised his hand. Begin! Unlike his cautious start against Niji, Naruto immediately charged forward, knowing Ino's mind techniques required time and concentration. Ino was prepared for this strategy, having trained specifically to counter Naruto's speed. She threw several smoke bombs, obscuring herself from view. When Naruto entered the smoke cloud, he found it empty, Ino had used the cover to reposition herself. Mind-body disturbance jutsu! Her voice came from behind him. Naruto felt a slight pressure in his mind but shook it off with surprising ease. Sorry, Ino, he called, turning to face her. My restriction seems to make my mind resistant to your techniques. Ino nodded, having suspected this might be the case. Then we do this the hard way. She launched into a taijutsu assault, her technique refined from their many training sessions together. Though not as fast or strong as Naruto, she knew his patterns and could anticipate many of his moves. The fight continued for several minutes, with Naruto holding back slightly despite his promise not to. Ino noticed and grew frustrated. Stop it! She demanded during a brief pause. You promised no holding back. I'm not. Naruto began. Yes, you are. Ino cut him off. I've trained with you enough to know when you're at full speed. This isn't it. Naruto hesitated, realizing she was right. I don't want to hurt you. I'm a ninja, Naruto. Ino replied firmly. Treating me like I'll break isn't respect, it's condescension. Now fight me properly. Her words struck home. Naruto nodded, his expression becoming serious. You're right. No more holding back. The pace of the battle immediately shifted. Naruto's movements became a blur, forcing Ino to use every trick and technique in her arsenal just to avoid being immediately overwhelmed. She used flash bombs, smoke screens, and the environment itself to create obstacles and openings. In the stands, the spectators were impressed by both competitors. Ino's tactical intelligence and versatility showed her growth as a ninja, while Naruto's raw physical abilities continued to astonish those who hadn't witnessed them before. The Yamanaka girl has improved dramatically, Kurenai observed. Her taijutsu is much better than during the preliminaries. She's been training with Naruto, Asuma explained with a knowing smile. They've been pushing each other to improve. The battle reached its climax when Ino, running low on options, executed a desperate but brilliant strategy. She launched her standard mind transfer jutsu directly at Naruto, who dodged as expected. But the real attack came from behind, a clone transformation she had created during an earlier smoke screen, positioned to catch Naruto off guard. For a moment, it seemed her strategy might work. The disguised clone managed to surprise Naruto, stopping his movement just long enough for Ino to close the distance with the kunai to his throat. Yield! She demanded, breathing heavily. Naruto smiled, not struggling against the hold. Clever. But not quite enough. With a display of raw strength that left many observers gasping, Naruto simply broke free, the transformation dispelling immediately. In the same motion, he gently but firmly disarmed Ino and swept her legs from under her, pinning her to the ground. Their faces were inches apart, both breathing hard from exertion. Yield? Naruto asked softly. Ino stared up at him, a mixture of frustration and admiration in her eyes. After a moment, she nodded. I yield. Winner Naruto Uzumaki! Genma announced. Naruto immediately released Ino and offered his hand, which she accepted with a rueful smile. I almost had you, she said as he pulled her to her feet. You did, he agreed sincerely. That was brilliant with the clone. I never saw it coming. Not brilliant enough, apparently. Ino sighed, but there was no bitterness in her tone. Congratulations, Naruto. You earned it. As they walked back to the competitor's box together, Naruto suddenly felt something was wrong. A strange tension had fallen over the stadium, and he noticed several jonin exchanging concerned glances. Something's happening, he murmured to Ino, his senses on high alert. Before she could respond, Sasuke finally arrived with Kakashi in a swirl of leaves, just in time for his postponed match against Gara. But as Gara descended to the arena floor, a commotion erupted in the stands. Feathers began falling from the sky, a wide-area genjutsu designed to put spectators to sleep. Explosions sounded from the village walls, and ninja wearing sand and sound insignia emerged from the crowd, attacking Leaf Ninja. We're under attack! Ino gasped, forming the release sign to dispel the genjutsu affecting her. Naruto, immune to genjutsu due to his inability to mold chakra, was already scanning for threats. He spotted the Hokage being taken hostage by the Kazekage on the roof of the viewing box. The Hokage's in trouble, he pointed. And look, sand and sound ninja are invading from all sides. Kakashi appeared beside them, dispatching a sound ninja with casual efficiency. Naruto Ino, I have a mission for you. Find Sakura and Shikamaru, then pursue Gara and his siblings. They've fled the arena, and Sasuke has gone after them. This is now an A-rank mission, but the village, Naruto began. The Jonin will handle the invasion. Kakashi cut him off. Gara is the Sand's secret weapon. If Sasuke faces him alone, he could be killed. Understanding the urgency, Naruto nodded. We're on it. As chaos engulfed the stadium and Konoha faced its greatest threat in over a decade, Naruto and Ino raced to find their comrades, unaware of the full scope of the danger that awaited them in the forest outside the village, and the truths about Gara that would force Naruto to confront his own nature as a Jinchuriki. Chapter 5: Invasion and Aftermath. Chaos erupted throughout Konoha as sand and sound forces launched their coordinated assault. In the stadium, Jonin and Chunin fought to protect civilians while countering enemy ninja. On the roof of the Hokage's viewing box, the third Hokage faced off against the revealed Orochimaru, who had been disguised as the Kazekage. Amidst this pandemonium, Naruto and Ino located Sakura, who had already dispelled the Genjutsu, and Shikamaru, who was feigning sleep to avoid combat. "Shikamaru, we know you're awake," Naruto said, nudging him with his foot. "We have a mission," Shikamaru sighed, opening one eye. "What a drag. I was hoping to sit this one out. Kakashi-sensei ordered us to pursue Sasuke and Gara," Ino explained urgently. "Sasuke went after Gara and his siblings, but he might be in danger. This is way above our pay grade," Shikamaru grumbled, but stood nonetheless. "But I guess we don't have a choice." With their team assembled, they slipped out of the stadium, evading the main battle zones. A Chunin named Ginma provided them with the general direction Gara's team had fled, and they set off in pursuit. As they leapt through the trees outside Konoha, Shikamaru outlined their approach. "If we're dealing with Gara and his siblings, we need a strategy. From what we saw in the preliminaries, all three are dangerous opponents. Gara is especially dangerous," Naruto added, recalling his conversation with the Sand Jinchuriki. "He has the one-tailed beast sealed inside him, like I have the 9 tails." Sakura and Shikamaru looked shocked by this revelation, while Ino, who had already heard it from Naruto, nodded grimly. "That explains his abilities with sand," Shikamaru said thoughtfully. "And why he's so important to the Sand's invasion plans. We need to be careful," Sakura warned. "If he's anything like the stories about the 9 tails attack, he could level half the forest. Unlike me, Gara can access his tailed beast's power," Naruto explained. "But he's not in control of it. From what he told me, the one-tail speaks to him constantly, driving him mad." This sobering information heightened the tension as they continued their pursuit. Using his superior senses, Naruto tracked Sasuke's trail through the forest, noting signs of a running battle. "They've split up," he announced as they reached a point where the trail diverged. Sasuke continued after Gara, but the other 2 Sand siblings took a different path. "They're probably trying to delay any pursuers," Shikamaru deduced. "We should split up too. Some of us deal with the siblings while the others help Sasuke with Gara. I'll handle Gara's siblings," Shikamaru volunteered. "My shadow techniques work better against multiple opponents anyway. I'll stay with Shikamaru," Sakura offered. "My Genjutsu might be useful," Naruto nodded. "Then Ino and I will continue after Sasuke and Gara." As they prepared to separate, they heard a sudden commotion ahead, the sounds of battle. Temari, the female Sand sibling, had engaged with a pursuing team of Leaf Ninja. The fight was already over, with several Leaf Genin unconscious on the forest floor. "Change of plans?" Shikamaru said quickly. "You 3 go ahead. I'll handle Temari and catch up if I can." "Alone?" Sakura asked worriedly. "I've got about 200 strategies ready," Shikamaru replied with surprising confidence. "Go. Sasuke needs you more than I do." Respecting his decision, Naruto, Ino, and Sakura continued forward while Shikamaru remained behind to face Temari. They hadn't gone far when they encountered the second Sand sibling, Kankuro, preparing an ambush with his puppet. "I'll take him," Ino declared. "My family techniques might work against a puppet user." "You 2 find Sasuke. Are you sure?" Naruto asked, concerned for her safety. Ino smiled confidently. "Positive. That puppet of his is controlled by chakra threads. If I can get into his mind even briefly, I can make him cut the connection." Naruto hesitated, then nodded. "Be careful, you too," she replied, her expression softening momentarily before she turned to face Kankuro. Naruto and Sakura pressed onward, following the increasingly disturbing signs of Gara's passage. Trees shredded by sand, the forest floor torn up by what appeared to be massive claws. "This doesn't look good," Sakura murmured. They finally caught up to Sasuke in a clearing, where he was facing a partially transformed Gara. The right side of Gara's body had mutated into a grotesque, sand-like appendage with blue veins and a monstrous arm. His face was contorted, One eye transformed into the yellow, star-shaped pupil of Shikaku. "Sasuke!" Sakura called out. The Uchiha glanced at them, clearly exhausted. "Stay back! He's not human anymore." Gaara's transformed eye fixed on Naruto. "You, the one like me but different. Now I understand why I was drawn to you. I must kill you to prove my existence." With frightening speed, Gaara launched himself at Naruto, his sand arm extended like a spear. Naruto pushed Sakura out of harm's way and met Gaara's charge head-on, his heavenly restriction-enhanced body matching Gaara's transformed strength. The impact sent both of them crashing through several trees before they separated, each landing in a crouch. "Naruto!" Sakura cried out in concern. "I'm fine," Naruto called back, never taking his eyes off Gaara. "Get Sasuke out of here! He's exhausted his chakra." Sakura hesitated, torn between helping Naruto and tending to Sasuke. "Go!" Naruto insisted. "I'm the only one who can fight him like this." Understanding the truth in his words, Sakura moved to Sasuke's side, supporting him as they retreated to a safer distance. Alone now, Naruto faced the increasingly monstrous Gara. "You don't have to do this, Gara. We're the same, both feared for what we have." "We are not the same," Gara growled, more sand enveloping his body as his transformation progressed. "You have people you care for, people who acknowledge you. I have only myself and this thirst for blood. It doesn't have to be that way," Naruto argued. "You can choose a different path." "Enough talk!" Gara roared, his transformation accelerating. Sand shuriken! Multiple projectiles of hardened sand shot toward Naruto, who dodged with his superior speed. The battle escalated quickly, with Gaara's sand techniques becoming more powerful as he transformed further, and Naruto countering with pure physical ability. Despite his enhanced strength and speed, Naruto found himself increasingly on the defensive as Gaara's transformation approached completion. The clearing was destroyed, and their battle had moved into the upper canopy of the forest. "You see?" Gaara taunted, now resembling a miniature version of Shikaku with only his legs and lower torso still human. "This is true power! The power of a demon!" Naruto gritted his teeth, feeling the strain in his muscles. Though his heavenly restriction granted him extraordinary physical capabilities, Gaara's tailed beast chakra seemed limitless. If the transformation completed, even Naruto might not be able to match him. In a desperate move, Naruto charged directly at Gaara, weaving through a barrage of sand attacks to deliver a powerful punch to Gaara's partially transformed face. The impact cracked the sand armor, revealing the vulnerable human underneath. Gaara screamed in pain and rage, the first real pain he had felt in years. How are you this strong without using chakra?" "Because I'm fighting for something more important than myself," Naruto replied, pressing his advantage. "I'm fighting to protect my friends, my village, and even you from the path you're on." Enraged, Gaara unleashed a massive wave of sand that caught Naruto off guard, slamming him into a tree trunk with crushing force. Despite his enhanced durability, Naruto felt ribs crack from the impact. "Friends? Village?" Gaara snarled. "Such connections only make you weak. True strength comes from fighting for yourself alone." As Naruto struggled to free himself from the sand binding him to the tree, Gaara's transformation accelerated. His upper body disappeared entirely into the form of Shikaku, leaving only his human legs visible. "I will show you true despair," Gaara declared, his voice overlapping with a deeper, more sinister tone. "By killing those you care about while you watch." With that threat, Gaara turned toward where Sasuke and Sakura had retreated, a massive sand arm extending toward them. "No!" Naruto shouted, a surge of desperate strength allowing him to break free of the sand restraints. He raced toward his teammates, knowing he couldn't reach them in time. At that moment, something unexpected happened. Deep within Naruto, the Nine-Tails chakra responded to his desperate need, not by flowing into his chakra network as it would for a normal Jinchuriki, but by somehow reinforcing his heavenly restriction. Naruto felt a strange burning sensation throughout his body, not painful but intensely energizing. His muscles seemed to densify, his senses sharpened beyond their already enhanced state, and a red aura briefly flickered around him despite his inability to mold chakra. With this unexpected boost, Naruto moved faster than he ever had before, intercepting Gaara's sand arm and shattering it with a single punch. Gaara recoiled in shock. "What is this? You're using your beast's power after all." "No," Naruto replied, equally surprised but understanding instinctively what had happened. "The Nine-Tails isn't giving me chakra, it's enhancing what I already have." This revelation changed the dynamic of the battle. Naruto's already extraordinary physical abilities were now temporarily augmented to a level that could match Gaara's transformation. Each punch left cracks in Gaara's sand armor, each kick disrupted his control over the sand. Realizing the threat Naruto posed, Gaara made a desperate decision. If I can't defeat you in this form, I'll show you my true power! Play possum jutsu! Gaara's human form went limp as the Shikaka transformation completed, growing to massive proportions. The fully manifested one tail towered over the forest, a gigantic tanuki made of sand with blue markings and a maniacal expression. I'm free! Shikaka roared, its voice echoing through the forest. And I smell blood! From his position below, Naruto assessed the situation grimly. The Nine Tails enhancement to his heavenly restriction was already fading, and he couldn't hope to match the fully released Shikaku in terms of raw power. I need to wake Gara, he realized, spotting the unconscious form of the sand ninja embedded in Shikaku's forehead. That's the key to stopping this. With renewed determination, Naruto began climbing the massive sand construct, using his enhanced strength and agility to avoid the sand bullets and air projectiles Shikaku fired at him. Stay still, you little insect! Shikaku bellowed, thrashing wildly as Naruto scaled his body. Through sheer perseverance and tactical use of the environment, Naruto finally reached Shikaku's head, where Gaara's unconscious form was visible. With a powerful leap, he closed the final distance and struck Gara directly in the face. Wake up! Naruto shouted. Gara! Wake up! Naruto shouted again while shaking Gara. Shikaku got a hold of Naruto's limbs and with no choice left decided to headbutt Gara. Gaara's eyes snapped open, confusion evident as he was painfully jolted back to consciousness. Immediately, Shikaku's control began to waver, the massive sand body becoming unstable. No! I just got free! Shikaku wailed as his form began to disintegrate. Gara and Naruto both fell as the giant tanuki collapsed into ordinary sand. Using the last of his strength, Naruto managed to grab Gara and position himself to take the brunt of the impact as they crashed through tree branches to the forest floor. They landed roughly, both too exhausted to continue fighting. They lay on the ground, just feet apart, completely drained. Why? Gara asked weakly. Why would you go so far for others? Where does your strength come from? Naruto turned his head to look at Gara. The same place yours could come from, bonds with other people. When you have someone precious to protect, that's when you truly become strong. Someone precious? Gara seemed to struggle with the concept. Friends, family, comrades. Naruto elaborated. People who acknowledge you for who you are, not what you contain. No one has ever acknowledged me, Gara said quietly. They only fear me. I acknowledge you, Naruto replied simply. Because we're the same, you and I. We both know what it's like to be feared for something beyond our control. But I found people who saw past the Nine Tails to the real me. You can find that too. Temari and Kankuro arrived then, having escaped from their respective battles. They approached cautiously, clearly fearful of Naruto despite his exhausted state. That's enough, Gara, Temari said gently. The invasion has failed. We need to retreat, Temari. Kankuro. Gara looked at his siblings with new eyes. I'm sorry. The siblings exchanged shocked glances, never having heard an apology from Gara before. Help me up, Gara requested, his voice lacking its usual hostility. As Kankuro carefully helped Gara to his feet, the Sand Jinchuriki looked back at Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki, thank you. Perhaps there is another path after all. With that, the Sand siblings departed, leaving Naruto alone until Sasuke and Sakura found him minutes later, followed shortly by Ino. Naruto! Ino knelt beside him, checking his injuries with concern. Are you alright? We saw that giant tanuki form and feared the worst. I'm okay, Naruto assured her, attempting to sit up despite his exhaustion. Just used up all my energy. You defeated Gara? Sasuke asked, his expression a mixture of disbelief and grudging respect. Naruto nodded. We came to an understanding. Ino helped Naruto stand, supporting him as they began the journey back to the village. That's twice now you've faced a monster that should have been beyond your abilities, she said quietly. Gara isn't a monster, Naruto corrected her. He's like me, someone who never asked for the burden he carries. The four genin made their way slowly back toward Konoha, all showing signs of their respective battles. As they approached the village, they could see smoke rising from several locations, evidence of the damage caused by the invasion. It looks bad, Sakura said worriedly. The village will recover, Sasuke replied stoically. Konoha has survived worse. When they finally reached the village gates, they were met by Kakashi, who had been about to lead a search party for them. "You're all alive," he said, relief evident in his voice. "Well done. The invasion has been repelled, though not without cost." "What happened with the Hokage?" Naruto asked, noting Kakashi's somber tone. Kakashi's visible eye lowered. "The third fought Orochimaru to protect the village. He did not survive." The news hit them all hard, but especially Naruto. The third Hokage had been one of the few people who had shown him kindness throughout his childhood, who had believed in him despite his situation. "He died protecting what was precious to him," Naruto said quietly, tears forming in his eyes. "Just like a true Hokage should." The days following the invasion were filled with grief and reconstruction. The entire village mourned the third Hokage, with a public funeral held to honor his sacrifice. Standing among his fellow ninja in the rain, Naruto silently renewed his vow to become Hokage someday, to protect the village as the third had done. The alliance between Sand and Sound had shattered when the Sand discovered Orochimaru had murdered their Kazekage and impersonated him. Peace negotiations were quickly established, with the Sand village offering reparations and assistance in tracking down Orochimaru. A week after the invasion, Naruto was summoned to the hospital, where Jiraiya was visiting an injured Jonin. "There you are, kid," the Sannin greeted him. "I heard about your battle with the Shikaku Jinchuriki. Impressive work." "Thanks," Naruto replied, still subdued by the recent events. "What did you want to see me about?" "I'm leaving the village on an important mission," Jiraiya explained. "To find Tsunade, my old teammate. The village elders want her to become the fifth Hokage." "Tsunade? The legendary medical ninja?" Naruto had heard stories of the third Sannin. "The very same. And I want you to come with me." Naruto blinked in surprise. "Me? Why?" "Several reasons," Jiraiya replied cryptically. "One being that I want to continue your training. That enhancement to your heavenly restriction that you experienced during your fight with Gara. I have some theories about that." "You think I could learn to control it?" Naruto asked, hope kindling in his voice. "Possibly. It's unprecedented for a Jinchuriki with your condition, but that's what makes it interesting." Jiraiya grinned. "Besides, Tsunade should examine you. As the world's greatest medical ninja, she might have insights into your heavenly restriction that no one else would." The prospect of learning more about his condition and potentially developing new abilities was enticing. "When do we leave?" "Tomorrow morning. Pack for a few weeks of travel." That evening, as Naruto prepared for the journey, he received an unexpected visitor at his apartment. "Ino, I heard you're leaving with Master Jiraiya," she said when he opened the door. Naruto nodded, inviting her in. "To find Tsunade and bring her back to be the new Hokage." Ino entered, looking around curiously at his sparse apartment. It was the first time she had visited his home. "How long will you be gone?" "A few weeks, maybe longer. We don't know where she is exactly." Ino nodded, an uncharacteristic hesitancy in her manner. "I wanted to give you something before you left." She held out a small package. Naruto unwrapped it to find a specialized kunai with the Yamanaka clan symbol etched into the handle, alongside a small vial of liquid. "The kunai is reinforced steel, stronger than standard issue," Ino explained. "And the vial contains a medicine my mother makes. It accelerates natural healing and reduces pain. I thought it might be useful on your journey." Touched by the thoughtfulness of her gifts, Naruto found himself at a loss for words. "Ino, I thank you." She smiled, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. "Just come back safely, okay? We still have training to do." "I will," he promised. "And when I get back, I'll have new techniques to show you." An awkward silence fell between them, filled with things unsaid. "Naruto," Ino finally spoke, her voice soft. "During the invasion, when I saw that giant sand monster and knew you were fighting it, I was scared. Not just for the village, but for you specifically." Naruto's heart beat faster at her words. "I'm pretty hard to kill," he joked weakly. "I'm serious." Ino stepped closer. "After everything we've been through, the training, the exams, the invasion, I've realized something. You've become someone important to me. Really important." Before Naruto could respond, Ino leaned forward and kissed him, not on the cheek this time but softly on the lips. It was brief but unmistakably meaningful. "That's for luck," she said as she pulled away, echoing her words from before the Chunin exams but with a deeper significance. "Come back to me, Naruto." With that, she turned and left, leaving Naruto standing in his doorway, stunned but filled with a new determination to complete his mission and return to Konoha, to return to her. The next morning, Naruto met Jiraiya at the village gate, ready for their journey. As they set out on the road, the Sannin noticed a change in his young companion. "You seem different today," Jiraiya observed. Naruto smiled, touching the Yamanaka kunai now secured in his weapon's pouch. "I have something important to come back to." Jiraiya raised an eyebrow but didn't press for details. "Well then, let's not waste time. We have a stubborn princess to find and a future Hokage to bring home." As they walked away from Konoha, Naruto felt a strange sense of anticipation. This journey would not only bring a new Hokage to the village but would also help him understand his unique condition better. And when he returned, he would be stronger, more capable of protecting those precious to him, especially a certain platinum blonde kunoichi who had unexpectedly claimed a special place in his heart. The road stretched ahead, full of unknown challenges, but Naruto embraced them willingly. His heavenly restriction had once seemed like a cruel limitation, but he now recognized it as part of what made him uniquely strong. With each obstacle overcome, he moved one step closer to his dream of becoming Hokage, proving that even without the ability to mold chakra, his ninja way remained undefeated. That's all for this story. Hope you guys liked it, and if you do, please let me know in the comments and hit the like and subscribe button.